members, average use Slo-Pitch. Today we're bringing out a bat that a lot of people have asked us about. I've been excited to get them in hand, get some swings on them. We've got Kyle Pearson's all new one-piece KP23s here in the blue, white and blue. We've got the 12.5-inch barrel max load. So for those not familiar, max load is going to be that half-ounce end load. If you ever see Super Max on it, that's going to be your 1 ounce. But here we've got a half-ounce model. And then in the red, we've got the 13-inch balance. Again, both one-piece models. Rawlings has put out some amazing one pieces this year, so we're going to kind of go ahead, see where these rank up with those as well. Go ahead and talk about that a little bit in the final thoughts on with our final compression. Assuming these test in that 250 to 260 range like we've seen with the majority of those Rawlings bats, we're going to go ahead and put about 50 swings on each one. Pro-Ms, Razos, and ZNs, not the hardcores, the regular Pro-Ms. Go ahead and see exactly how these things are performing. At what point do they open up, become game ready, whether it's out of the wrapper, 20 swings in, 50 swings in. If at that 50 swing mark, they're not feeling quite right, we'll go ahead with more swings like we normally do and see exactly what it takes to make these game ready. We're out here tonight at Anthony, New Mexico under the lights. A little limited on time, but we should be able to get these done no problem. We've got a roughly 330 down the lines, 380 if I remember correctly to center, and then 20 or 30 down the right field line as well. I'll go ahead and throw the measurements up here momentarily at the end of this, just before the compression portion. But let's go ahead, get these on the tester, see where they're at, come back, get some swings, final compression, final thoughts. All right, let's go ahead and test our one-piece KPs real quick. Up first, we've got the max load model. Again, 12.5-inch barrel on this one. Won't affect the test here, but that's just in case you weren't paying attention during the intro. Dial that to 0. And pretty much right at 250, which is what we've come to kind of expect from the one pieces here from kind of the Rawlings brand themselves. And then the balance model, which is that 13-inch, obviously still a one piece. And this one is also right at 250. So again, with them being lower compression, we're not going to throw a ton of swings on them. We're probably looking at about 50 on each, and really just to see kind of what point we think it really becomes game ready. And then from that time that it feels game ready, how is it performing? All right, we're going to start with the balance model. Again, 13 inches at this point on this one, mostly because I'm also more of an end load fan, so I didn't want to swing the end load and fall in love with it and then bias my opinion here on the balance. So all three of us will swing the balance. Once we get through the balance, come back again, get that 50 swings, and then you put 50 on the end load, and then final compression, final thoughts.
96 miles per hour.
I didn't mention in the intro either, our winds right now, we've got, maybe you can hope you can see that, but it's blowing pretty much right in towards the camera, maybe just slightly more towards the bleachers, but obviously no assistance kind of with the wind there, which is nice because we'll see with how it comes off, how it punches kind of through the wind.
95 miles per hour.
It feels right now, 5 to 10 swings in, like a mix of a Bedlam and a one-piece Resi. That's kind of like where, or maybe, I mean, yeah, probably mixed between those. Similar maybe to the Primo, I guess, which I guess makes sense. They're both Mikens, but you can definitely tell it's a little soft, and it feels like it needs a little bit of just opening up kind of the fibers on it, which makes sense.
92 miles per hour. 85 miles per hour.
Oh, you found the spot, dude. I told you.
100 miles per hour.
There's the sweet spot, though. It is still soft, though. You almost don't even feel it come off at that point.
97 miles per hour. 89 miles per hour. 101 miles per hour.
Comes off the sweet spot good, that's for sure.
89 miles per hour. 94 miles per hour.
That one felt good. When you catch it a little low of the sweet spot, you get almost a for sure one-piece Resi, kind of that, almost a baseball bat sound in my mind, like a soft wood bat, but that's the sound you're getting when it's a little off the sweet spot. When you catch the sweet spot, you're getting that Bedlam feel, a little bit softer, but a real good sweet spot.
83 miles per hour. 79 miles per hour. 95 miles per hour.
It's definitely coming off a little different than the other one pieces. I mean, definitely the most similar, I guess, is probably the primo kind of feel, maybe almost bedlam feel off the sweet spot, but you can tell they're not quite jumping off. The winds definitely haven't put in its work on that ball, so.
98 miles per hour.
Or 98 knuckleball.
104 miles per hour.
Yeah, sweet spot starts a little smaller than I would expect from any Rawlings bat, especially the one pieces. But when you catch it, you can see kind of what you get from the speeds. There's almost no feel in the hands. It comes off so smooth you don't feel it. So when you get that little bit of crack sound, you can feel a little bit on the hands. You know you caught it a little bit low. Still performing pretty well. But that's the no kidding sweet spot. When it just jumps off, you don't feel it.
92 miles per hour.
A little more under than I wanted to be, but it came out good. I mean, yeah, that one got out of here through the wind. Again, that's that sweet spot. Caught, definitely didn't get my hands on top the way I wanted, but you get that forgiveness, worked out well.
81 miles per hour. 85 miles per hour. 94 miles per hour.
Woo-wee.
95 miles per hour.
That makes sense. You heard a little bit more of the crack. It was slightly lower the sweet spot. But again, if my forgiveness is on a line off a 330, 340 fence, I'll take it every time. Especially with our wind blowing a little bit in.
That in too.
84 miles per hour.
Oh, there it is.
88 miles per hour.
Breeze.
98 miles per hour. 87 miles per hour.
Put your hands up, Demi. All right, with the wind, I'll take just short of the track. I mean, it wasn't a great swing, but again, the one thing you always get from really any of the, I haven't found a single one of these Rawlings one pieces that aren't forgiving. So you get the forgiveness on a softball field, that's gone pretty much 99 times out of 100. Well, on the 315 or less fields. So, but I got to get my hands up on that one. Stay level with that ball.
82 miles per hour. 89 miles per hour. 90 miles per hour.
Top of the rocks. Way, yeah.
97 miles per hour.
Ooh. Stupid wind, whatever. Right at the base of the fence. But again, you kind of seen everyone swing this now. It's definitely opened up here towards the end. We got it pretty much right what I said, right at 50 swings. I'll see what the pocket radar says, but we're somewhere between 45, 55. So we're right there. It definitely opened up. It's at this point. You could definitely game it. We'll talk a little more about it in the final thoughts after we kind of see that final compression. All right, now for the 12.5 max load. So again, half-ounce end load. The balance felt not too bad. I think honestly, again, with those balance models, you obviously don't get that extra oomph kind of through the zone. This one, you can feel that end load. If somebody told me this was a 1 ounce end load, I'd believe them, to be honest. This is a 27, supposed to be 27 half ounce. I could see it feeling a little more like a full, so just kind of keep that in mind. But with a 12.5 inch barrel, which to me is almost the perfect length, it's the same as like the Kinetic, real excited to see how this one performs.
99 miles per hour.
I don't know where I caught that one, but everything about the way it felt was 100% better. Like, just coming off felt better. I'm excited.
99 miles per hour.
99 knuckleball, and our wind is currently still blowing nice and in for us. So, yeah, no aid here, but I can tell you off the first swing with this one, I think it's going to be a drastic difference here with the end load.
90 miles per hour.
This feels a lot better.
85 miles per hour. 87 miles per hour.
Probably don't want to hit that high with the wind, but I don't know if it's going to matter with this bat. Oh, it mattered. Still, not great contact, to be honest. Way too high, and we still hit our fence at 330. So, you can feel with this end load, it's really coming through the zone. Whole lot easier than the balance. I don't think I'm putting in nearly as much effort, and the ball's definitely coming off good. Hopefully this wind's not messing with the sound too much. Of course, it's gonna kick up now that we're near the end of our BP session.
101 miles per hour.
That's a way better feel than the bounce, for me at least. You guys are wondering why there's a new pitcher. In honor of the Little League World Series, we set pitch counts. If he throws any more, he's ineligible to pitch tomorrow. So we had to swap him out.
85 miles per hour.
Peace.
83 miles per hour.
Nice piece.
95 miles per hour.
Woo-wee. This is what I was expecting a one-piece KP23 to feel like. I'm glad we started with the balance though, because I think we would have all hated the bounce had we swung this one first.
89 miles per hour.
It's a slight miss again. And we're right at the fence. I mean, super forgiving, easy to get through the zone. Feels a lot better, I think, for like what you expect from the Rawlings one pieces. This one does have a lot more of a bedlam feel to me, with a slightly stiffer, almost primo feel. So a mix between the kind of those two.
82 miles per hour.
That ball, I think, would have easily got out of here. That wind, you saw it hit a wall.
Yep.
87 miles per hour. 92 miles per hour.
Descended, his skin, it'll grow back.
Man, it feels good.
96 miles per hour. 85 miles per hour.
One on that.
87 miles per hour.
I'm okay with that.
That's a good one in on actually, 87.
91 miles per hour.
That seems like a good one to end on. So, for me, end load has a completely different feel than the balance. It's more of a bedlam, slightly stiffer bedlam feel, almost to the one-piece resi, kind of in the middle of those two of them. Sweet spots feels great. You saw with the sweet spot swings, we were 99, 100s, whatever might be there. Again, a little warm at this point today. Even under the lights here, I think we're still 90 degrees because we don't have sunlight out here. But these balls, again, they're getting a little bit older as well, so wouldn't expect them to be performing top notch. But with both these bats, just remember, if you switch to hardcores, super dupers, you pull the ball straight out of the box brand new, they're always going to obviously feel better. This is kind of the low end of the performance you should expect with the Pro-Ms. But this one, super easy through the zone. The end load really helps it through. Incredibly forgiving. If I was going to pick one of the two to game, it would be the end load, but also I'm an end load fan. 12.5-inch barrel to me is perfect. With the balance, I think if you're a balance fan, it's a perfectly good option. I'm not a huge balance fan, which is why I think with the mid loads on DeMarini, for me, that extra weight they add kind of centered up really makes the difference, and that's why I like that one over that. But let's go ahead, get the final compression, and then just a real quick final thoughts. All right, obviously it's now daytime. It was my fault. I didn't bring the 52s out with us last night when we were hitting these. So again, I like to put 52s on pretty much everything. So we got the 52s out here today. I'm gonna go ahead and throw, we're running out of time though, so it's gonna be just me on this one, but I'm gonna throw about 15 to 20 52s on each, just to kind of see how they perform. Probably just honestly show you the best 5 to 10 swings, just so those guys up there, whether it's Canada, up north in the US, wherever you're at, where you might have to swing the softer hot dots 52s, things like that, know how these perform. So let's go ahead, throw some swings on with this one real quick, and then I'll go over to kind of the compression, which obviously is gonna be back to nighttime, because you're gonna see the compression from last night as well as the final thoughts. All right, up first we're gonna go again, balance with the 52s. These are ZN Hycon 52 300s.
93 miles per hour.
A little weird spin off the barrel.
95 miles per hour.
Dude, 95, just knuckling like crazy. Again, you got the real soft Rawlings feel. I know we mentioned this one already felt a little softer yesterday, the balance, but with the 52s, you definitely have that softer feel. So you really gotta pay attention to the sound as you're making contact.
93 miles per
Shouldn't hit
hour.
a ball that high, but that ball came off really good. Really good. Whew, okay.
102 miles per hour.
Ooh, there's the potential right there.
89 miles per hour.
A little bit of a hand jam on myself, but it does not matter. We carried that one out to pretty much dead center, right at the base of the fence. Our wind right now, you can kind of see that, it's blowing in a little bit, so even if it dies down up there, at least it's not aiding us. But it feels good with 52s. It performed well with it. For being kind of everyone's least favorite last night with the Pro-Ms, I think that one honestly feels really good with the 52s. We'll see what the end load does right now. But again, any of the Rawlings one pieces, or really any of the Rawlings bats I found so far, they are a little on the softer side from the start. So just know with 52s, same thing. You're gonna have to really listen more for the sound, because you don't get a great feel off of here. The one time you get a feel on these ones is when you catch it low or high, at least you know you missed it. But once you're talking about no kidding sweet spot versus slight miss at the sweet spot, it's just soft and you're gonna have to listen for sound. Let's see what our end load does for us with the 52s.
95 miles per hour. 98 miles per hour.
So again, just like we talked about with the Pro-Ms last night, or well, earlier in the video, I guess I'm saying last night, but this one does have a little bit of a stiffer feel, not quite as soft as the Balance, and it stands true with the 52s. You get a little bit more of the actual feedback in the hands to know where you caught it, and you're not so much relying on sound. And the ball's absolutely jumping off of it again, which the Balance had plenty of pop with the 52s, but same as with the Pro-Ms of this one, the sweet spot is just a little bit hotter here, and this is, I think, in my mind, more for like the power guy who really wants to send it, whereas the Balance is great for control, being real forgiving, with a minor drop off probably on the sweet spot, at least for us.
93 miles per hour.
All right,
91 miles per hour.
nice double step, dude. We don't need more 52s with it. So yeah, again, both of these, if you buy them and you only need them 52s, they'll work great. If you need them for a mix, let's say you play in a league, maybe a 52s, tournaments with Pro-Ms, it'll work. The good news is, we hit these with Pro-Ms first. We know the Balance is down to sub 240. This is right at 240. So even at the softer side, lower compression, they're still handling them great. So if you are somebody who's only gonna use 52s, I know the compression wouldn't start super high with them, but you can expect even a little bit better performance off the jump with that kind of higher compression. But either way, let's go ahead, we're gonna go back, test it, and you'll see the final thoughts from what we recorded kind of last night. This is kind of your final thoughts for the 52s, since obviously we hadn't swung this with them prior to last night's final thoughts. Man, it looks like we got done just in time to beat this wind, but real quick, let's go ahead and test these. Up first, the 13-inch balanced KP23. Both these got about 50 swings on them, kind of like we talked about, based on their starting point. And this one is sitting right at 220. It's had a decent break. Obviously, it's not in the sun, things like that. But even if we gave it 5, even a 10 back, we're sitting kind of like right at 230. So that's definitely one that's meant to probably just be gamed, not really BP'd. And if you are going to BP it, use 52s. Make sure you're rotating the bat. That would be my recommendation to you. On the end load model, this one didn't have as long to sit, but this one's sitting right on 240. So that's a little bit more of what we'd like to see there. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Balance back on there just to make sure I wasn't like touching the wall in the test or something like that. But USSSA stamp up like we always do here. Oh yeah, that wind's starting to kick up. Hopefully it's not messing with the audio too bad right now. We're not touching any walls, looks good. Get that back up to 0 and try this one more time. Yeah, it's still right at like 220, maybe 230. So this one might be sitting dead on kind of 240 if we weren't kind of at elevation, just get done swinging it. But either way, both of them, I would recommend your BP being pretty much with 52s, and then we'll talk a little bit more about their performance here in the final thoughts. All right, and we are swings complete, compression complete here with our one-piece KP23s. Again, the blue models are 12.5-inch barrel, max load, so half-ounce end load, and then the red models are 13-inch barrel balanced. And with both of these, they both pretty much gave off kind of what you're used to with kind of the Rawlings one pieces if you've already swung them. If you've seen some of our previous videos, each of these kind of had a little mix of different ones in there. I felt like the Balance felt a little bit like a mix of a Miken Primo, Worth Bedlam kind of in there depending. When you caught the sweet, no kidding kind of sweet spot, you got that softer feel of the Bedlam. When you caught a little bit outside of that, you got more of a stiffer, almost crack noise from like the Resi, but the actual performance and feel on the hands reminded me a lot of the Primo. With the end load, we had a little bit of a mix of like the Primo Resi, the Bedlam Resi kind of feel where you got the more resi kind of crack noise off the sweet spot, so kind of the opposite of the balanced, but you still got a little bit of that noise with the softer bedlam feel. And so again, I would imagine that with the 12.5-inch barrel, it made a little bit of a difference, obviously with the end load. For all three of us, everyone preferred the, I can't talk right now, preferred the end load, however, which whether it has to do with the end load helping it through the zone, the slightly shorter barrel, whatever it might be, this one to me did perform better, not only from out of the wrapper, but even as it kind of got some swings on it. This one, I don't feel like it changed too much from swing number one to now, whereas on the balanced, it needed about that 25 swing mark where we really feel like that sweet spot started to open up. As you saw with the test, surprisingly enough, this one came in failing. Again, not at elevation, not right after we got done swinging, even though I get the sun's not out, but again, we haven't let this thing kind of settle. Maybe sitting kind of right at 240, and now I would put this one closer to 250. But either way, bats like this that are game ready, I would recommend breaking them into 52s, rotate the barrels. That's just to kind of loosen up kind of the fibers, make sure that sweet spot's where you want it, get used to the bat, but then just game it from there. If you're somebody though who likes the balanced bats in general, there's nothing wrong with this one. It's just kind of not my cup of tea at that point. I'm not a huge balance fan in the first place, but I will say the sweet spot was good. The bat overall was forgiving. It had some interesting kind of feedback. For me, the noise I liked the best, or sound coming off of it, was actually when you missed it. It had kind of more of that crack noise. But if you're somebody who likes kind of the softer feel, like the tantrum, the bedlams, primos, whatever it might be, the sweet spot feels pretty much the same as you would expect. And then if you're somebody who's looking for that end load, that normal kind of, hey, I want a little bit extra pop, which I feel like is what we got with this one, that's where you're gonna get with this end loaded 12.5. Again, I do feel like the end load on this one feels a little more pronounced than just a half ounce, so just kind of keep that in mind. But I don't think you have any reason to go up or down a weight from your kind of normal weight at that point. But with that being said, both of these still good bats. What you expect kind of from Rawlings. Go with whichever kind of barrel length end load you prefer. If you're a balanced person, again, I would sit here with this one. I wouldn't worry about switching away from it. And if you're an end load person, obviously you go with the end load model. But both of these are shipping here from Headbanger Sports kind of as we speak. I believe they all landed in the warehouse on August 16th, shipping the week of. So as of seeing this video, they may have actually just started shipping. Either way, head over to Headbanger Sports. Code ADS will save you on either of these models. Obviously, if we sell out, you can head over to Miken as well. Miken Sports, I think, is what their website is. However, I don't have a code for that one, so I'm not sure if they have codes. If they do, maybe you can find a Miken rep. You can reach out to us, and I can help you try to find someone as well. But while we have these in stock, easy option, ADS over at headbangersports.com, or reach out, get a hold of us as well. Our rankings on averageused.slowpitch.com will get updated here very, very soon. So just kind of keep that in mind. These will get added there. We've got kind of our website developer. She's back from maternity leave. So if you're somebody who's been kind of like, hey, those have been out of date for a little while, we will have those updated very, very soon. We'll get these added to it ASAP as well. Be somewhere kind of right there, honestly, probably in the middle of the pack, with this one ranking a little bit higher due to kind of the sweet spot performance. But with that being said, hopefully this helped you decide if you want to pick either of these up, or if you kind of want to go with a different model. If you're somebody who's just kind of looking for that discount code you can use, ADS works on everything on headbangersports.com other than Louisville Slugger, where you're going to need to use ADS 35. But with that being said, we appreciate you supporting the channel. Thanks for checking this video out. Have a good night.